Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll talk about the 5 basic rules you can use to 1, come up with great content ideas, and 2, to actually capture attention with anything that you write. I've got good news and I've got bad news. The bad news is it's very difficult to compete on being better than someone if you don't have the money to show them that truly you are better. But the good news is you can compete by differentiating yourself. Bring exactly who you are, something that no one else can bring, and that's how you're going to stand out in your content. Rule number 1, know your point. This I've talked about in many other videos as well, that having a goal, having somewhere to work towards, working backwards from the goal is going to make it so much easier for you when you write. Sometimes we might not know what we want to talk about. We just know that I have to write that Instagram post or that LinkedIn article, but I don't know what exactly to say. The easiest way is just to look for inspiration in trends, in things that are popular right now. Take a look at Twitter, take a look at Medium, take a look at publications and what they're talking about. Get onto that trend, not to copy what they're saying, but look through it to get some inspiration. Now, one of the great things is you can find statistics that you can respond to. Statistics that are interesting to you either means that you've never thought about it that way before, or that you have thought a lot about the concept and it's taking you on a different angle. So that's very interesting to get your own reaction to those statistics and then share about what you think. And this brings me to rule number 2, not just to have a point, but have your point. This is what's missing in a lot of writing. So they don't bring an interesting angle. They don't bring a unique angle from the author, from the brand. We've heard, the same thing over and over again. For example, Black Lives Matter. Lots of people are sharing and saying, yes, Black Lives Matter. We stand with you. But that's very general, right? So what exactly does your brand, or do you as a business owner or a content creator, influencer, what is your relation to this point? And that makes all the difference, right? It doesn't mean that the point has to be new. That's not the point, right? Like everyone, if they're talking about, let's say, racial injustice, right, the same things are usually being talked about, but it's how do you connect to that topic? And if you share that will resonate with the people in your community, right? The same thing has been said, but in different ways. The way that I say it will resonate with my audience, but the way that you say it will resonate with your audience. And that's the whole point, is that you don't want to resonate with everyone because then no one will care. It's just how do you resonate with your people who are drawn to the way that you tell it and not anyone else. One way we do this is with rule number 3, get specific fast. This is how you paint a picture for someone, how you guide them through the journey and get them to stay with you. For example, back on the topic of racial injustice, if you say something like, in our society today, racial justice is everywhere, but many times it's invisible. Yeah, something that we've heard one version of this at one point, and we nod and we say, okay, yeah, I agree with that. Not so interesting. But if you get specific and tell a story and show someone, for example, I've never been to a protest before until last Saturday when I went downtown with my Black Lives Matter sign. That is so different. That connects with you in such a different way than in our society today. This is what's happening, right? Like, yes, we all live in this society, but I don't connect with that because it's not very interesting. I already knew that, So tell them the specifics. The topic is the same. It's about racial injustice. It's about Black Lives Matter in both cases, right? But the way that you bring the specifics, right? Paint the picture of, I never go to a protest, so you have a rough idea of what this person looks like, until last Saturday when I went downtown. Now, all of a sudden in your mind, you see downtown, right? You see downtown, and then I say, I brought my sign there, and you see my sign, you see me downtown, you see the environment around me, you fill in all the details. I'm not doing the hard work. But now you're so invested into the story and you want to know what happens next. So this is what's going to persuade. This is what's going to connect with your audience, is if you bring the specifics and bring it fast, because even if they thought your first sentence was interesting, if they read a few more and they can't latch onto it emotionally somehow, then you're going to lose them. So give them the specifics and give it fast. Now, if you're having trouble coming up with those stories, that's okay. Use my 17 prompts where it will draw out the stories, the things that have happened to you, your experiences that you can use to really bring that unique perspective and angle into anything that you talk about. So make sure you check out the description box for the link. It's completely free, so feel free to download it and check it out. Rule number 4, write to yourself. Every time when we sit down, we think, okay, this is for the business. The goal is, let's say, to get more followers, get more engagement, get more people to know about, my services, XYZ. We freeze up. So instead of worrying about, this is for the business and this has to do with XYZ, just write to yourself. What do I think about racial injustice? What do I think about, the latest app? What do I think about startup culture? What do I think? Doesn't matter what your topic is, write to yourself. This is how you're going to unarm yourself and bring down those walls that give you that writer's block, right? People say, oh, I'm not creative, I'm not this and that. That's not true. It's because you think you're writing for someone and this goal is difficult to achieve. So write to yourself first. And if you still feel stuck, here is the super simple structure you can always come back to, and that's Anecdote-Bridge-Point. You can start with the anecdote or you can start with a point. If you feel like I just don't have something that inspires me, that's fine. Start with the anecdote. And I always recommend going back to the transitional moments of your life, the places where you went, oh my God, that's so right. Your aha moments that changed the direction that you're going in, change the way that you thought about something important in your life. We all have those, right? That's usually we have aha moments and then we start our own businesses. So go back to that, right? What was that story? Write it down to yourself and just watch how you will come up with the points. You can also come up with the point first and then use a bridge to link it to almost any anecdote, right? Find a story that might relate to it, and you'll be surprised how much a random story can really link to a very serious point. Now, here's a random story. I went to the dollar store 2 days ago to buy a legal pad. Nothing interesting. I got there, it was not $1. The yellow one was $1.99, and surprisingly, the white one was $1.49. Okay, pretty random story, but I can link it to a million different points. I can talk about, let's say that you can use different pricing strategies to direct the customer to buy one product over the other, right? For example, you can talk about the trust that customers give and take based on actions, the small actions that you take with your business. We can talk about the economy and inflation, of how basically nothing in the dollar store is $1 anymore. There's so many points I can make with just that one story. So don't be scared when you come up with anecdotes and stories. They don't have to be completely related to your point. You'll be surprised how many random stories you can bridge, right? And here's the key, is that you can bridge to your main point. So be creative, and that's what's fun about writing, right? You can be silly about this. Even if you're writing a very serious economic paper, you can bring some lightness and break it up by putting in an interesting or unexpected example. If you want more inspirations on what kind of stories to include or things that you can talk about, make sure to check out that 17 prompts again. And also you can join my newsletter if you want more structure tips on how to write it persuasively and in an engaging way. So if you found this useful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.